Ladies and gentlemen, Marc Jacobs.
Hello. That's the truck?
Marc Jacobs in pigeon disguise for his end-of-year New York party, forced to ride in a truck as his costume is so huge it won't fit into any car. But that epitomizes a whole state of mind, that of the most influential American fashion designer of his generation. The theme of the party is Venice. Anyone not in costume is not allowed in. The doors open at 8 p.m. sharp and close at 8:15. It's fun, but serious fun. The whole of New York has fought for invites to this now legendary party in the great French tradition of mask-wearing fashion designers like Jacques Fath or Paul Poiret. A somewhat overblown party because Marc Jacobs has been walking on air since he became artistic director with Louis Vuitton and helped transform the French luggage maker into the most profitable luxury business ever. Store openings have become the new premieres. A movie can be a flop, but not a store opening. When Louis Vuitton reopened his flagship store on the Champs-Élysées in Paris, undenied rumor had it that the megalomaniac amounts spent on renovating the building had been amortized in just 1 month.
If we didn't love fashion, we'd be naked.
Luxury today means reckoning with the world's market leader, the LVMH Group, uniting over 60 different brands of clothing, champagne, watches and leather goods. And its golden goose, accounting for half of its sales, is Louis Vuitton, a genre model, its most emblematic and profitable brand, with its 19th century monogram. A yearly turnover of several billion euros, hundreds of stores worldwide, and for each new opening, endless queues of diehards ready to shower the shop assistants with banknotes. The man at the heart of the Vuitton miracle is Bernard Arnault, the businessman who bought the brand in 1989 and transformed it into an international giant, on the up. He's the richest man in France, but also something of an enigma. His boldest decision was to appoint a young, independent and unpredictable American designer as artistic director of Vuitton, inventor of grunge, Marc Jacobs.
La marque Vuitton, depuis que Marc Jacobs est arrivé, double à peu près tous les 5 ans.
Vuitton's specialty is leather bags, yet as a look at the model's hands during his first March 98 fashion show reveals, Marc had sort of forgotten something.
Là, j'étais un petit peu, comment dirais-je, étonné parce que dans le premier défilé, il n'y avait pas un sac. Et bon, il s'est bien rattrapé depuis.
Yet it wasn't long before he'd given the bags a makeover, transforming them every season while remaining faithful to Vuitton craftsmanship. He's incredibly popular and seems to live in a whirlwind of stars.
Look at us. What a motley crew we are, huh?
Here's the first row at a Vuitton show. Jade Jagger, Ludivine Seigné, Diane Kruger, Winona Ryder, the singer Eve, Wes Anderson, Marilyn Manson, stripper Dita Von Teese, painter Elizabeth Payton, Japanese artist Takashi Murakami. On the next block, Vuitton boss Yves Carcel, Salma Hayek, Alexander Payne, Mrs. Deneuve-Thurman, Mr. and Mrs. Arnault, Sharon Stone, Pharrell Williams, Gillian Anderson, the French Minister of Trade, one Spanish Duke, and the Minister of the Economy's wife. Phew! But to understand what lies behind this creativeness, one must access Marc Jacobs. The only problem is Marc Jacobs cannot be filmed. He's off limits. He's very straight up in interviews, yet has never allowed a camera to look at his creative process.
No.
On sort maintenant parce que c'est fini le backstage, excusez-moi.
Anyone not doing hair and makeup, get out!
Oh, il y avait de la sécurité ici, là.
About to give up after years of trying to approach him to no avail, we noticed a chink in the armour. Camille Micheli, a key member of his inner circle, artistic advisor to Marc Jacobs at Vuitton, she also designs jewellery that seems to drive Naomi Campbell crazy and organises the shows.
Cammy said we're not on the list.
It so happened that her mother, Dominique Micheli, could get us access to this in-crowd.
Well, you know, I love your daughter so much. And I love her mom, and I love her brother. So the Micheli family, for me, it's like, as long as I have you guys in my life, I'm okay.
So he took her on as our guide and chaperone, and she got us in everywhere. New York, Tokyo, London, Paris, introducing us to close friends and collaborators.
I'm not sure about something like that.
Okay, she did speak a little loud on the phone sometimes during interviews, but she was nice. We started filming with a skeleton crew of 3. Dominique, a sound engineer, and a cameraman.
That's Louis.
I think every shoot should be like this.
Yeah?
Yeah, because it's so much, you don't need more than 3 people.
This is all being documented for French TV, so everyone on their best behavior, please.
Like we said, Marc Jacobs works for 2 labels, his own based in New York and Louis Vuitton in Paris.
Louis Vuitton pose would be like this. And the Marc Jacobs pose would be like this. I like that.
Marc Jacobs set up his own label when he was 20, with faithful associate Robert Duffy, always by his side through good and bad, and of course during the negotiations with Vuitton. Robert Duffy of the wide-open shirt collar is behind his champion night and day. He's the one who organises the zany end-of-year parties. Marc Jacobs is a bucker of trends par excellence. He's afraid of nothing.
There's my ass.
One of his brands is called Stinky Rat, and its logo is a stinky rat. In his window displays, he has taken a political stand against his government and the war in Iraq. He's done everything a marketing consultant would urge one not to do with a luxury brand. Yet his stores are full, with an average spend per customer of over $3,000, according to in-house statistics.
Mr. Marc Jacobs!
He's won a ton of awards, but keeps a level head.
That's important for fashion right now, don't you think?
I don't know, important and fashion shouldn't be used in the same sentence.
Never coy, he's always up for a bit of star play. And if a photographer asks him to scream his head off with his friends and crew for an hour, he'll do it.
Marc Jacobs, ça peut être le Ralph Lauren du XXIe siècle. Le premier créateur américain aujourd'hui, hein, dans tous les classements, il est en tête des créateurs américains. Je crois que le potentiel est très grand. The sky is the limit.
Before catching the preparations for the Vuitton show in Paris, we were told we could film the build-up to his own show in New York. Come at 10, you'll get to see Marc Jacobs at work. So off we went, to the heart of the hippest area, where on the intercom we noticed it was just above a poet's circle. 8th floor, here we are, there he is.
Ça va, maman?
Ça va, mon chéri?
Look.
A portrait of Sofia Coppola by Elizabeth Peyton on the wall, and on the desk, 7 CFDA trophies, the US Fashion Oscars.
Protein bar, yeah. So, we should try a nice version of that pocket shape, right?
Yeah.
And fix the fly. Heavy. I think we should try the heavier thread.
This is the inner sanctum. No one has ever filmed here, and especially not this, the elaboration of Marc Jacobs' collection as it happens. He cuts fabric on the floor, cobbles together pants that will be on the catwalk 1 week later. This is it, in the making. And at last, we're in. He even lets us film him ironing.
Making a documentary. Really? Mm-hmm. You're good.
So how does the Marc Jacobs machine actually work? From this moment on, we'd be able to observe it. In the room that night were Joseph and Shelley. Shelley is the cabin model. Tattooed all over, she fits clothes all night long. Standing on 15-inch heels for hours on end, her main concern is to keep her blood circulating.
Oops, sorry, Shell. Your shoulders are the perfect shoulder.
That's small?
Yeah.
Let's go down small shoulder.
I think it's more desirable in a woman.
Joseph is the body and soul totally devoted assistant.
Oh my God, Joseph, you look amazing now.
Joseph is Marc Jacobs' second eye. He can't do without him.
Joseph? Joseph? Where did he go? Anybody see Joseph? Where'd Joseph go? I need to see Joseph. Is Joseph available? Can he come out here? Oh, Joseph. 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 Where's Joseph?
And when he finds him, he's over the moon.
Yay! Lots to do, Joseph. It's gonna work. Wow. Very nice. Perfect. It's weird caught in the seam, isn't it? Maybe it's weird, period. Let's see. What do you think, ladies, of this creation? It's going to be in white with silver.
He and Joseph try out some roughs of dresses on Shelley, in colours garish, even disturbing. A vision that would only come clear the following week on the catwalk. The staff at Jacobs' New York workshop is unflinchingly faithful. Many have been there since the brand was created. They've known the ups and downs, the near bankruptcies, and the many sleepless nights.
Usually when we interview somebody, we try to explain that the 2 weeks before the show, they will not be sleeping. Maybe 1 hour, 2 hours a night.
So we had to do fast. No time to sleep.
New people don't believe you, but after one season, they believe you.
This is my, let's see, my 24 collection with Marc.
Some of them for like years and years, like 15 years.
I was in the army, then I came to fashion.
Believe me, they're not really very happy about it here, but everybody here works very hard. But in America, that's all we do is work, as Muhammad Ali said.
But luckily, Marc Jacobs has a secret molecule to boost his troops' morale.
Have some sugar. It'll keep you going.
Sugar-doped troops who it seems absolutely worship him.
How you doing? Wow.
I want you to sign my hat.
Okay.
Please?
Yeah. Okay.
Love it.
Good. Enjoy.
Got it. Got it. Look, everybody.
The working conditions are special. As they say here, we're family.
Go, Ash. Yeah.
Come on, Ash. Let's do the hustle. You don't know how to do the hustle? You're too young. Come on.
I'm not too young.
Do this. You have to do the slide thing. Follow me. Don't be so stiff. Relax, relax, relax.
The whole company feels very like family atmosphere. Robert Duffy, I think, makes a nice environment, and a lot of people have worked there for a long time, so I always feel very at home when I go there.
In any case, everybody seems pretty relaxed, like the models who come for casting sessions and who change in plain view unabashed all day long. Marc Jacobs works on two fronts, in New York for his own brand and in Paris for Louis Vuitton. Obviously, in the Vuitton building, things are not so homey. In this global company, you need a different badge for every door. At Vuitton too, something totally new. We'd be allowed to follow, over a period of months, the creative process of Marc Jacobs and his Paris teams, which began with an attack of meetingitis.
How are you today, Louis? I'm super fine.
Of course, we were dying to see and understand how Marc Jacobs' eye is nourished, how it adapts to a system like Vuitton's. He starts out with walls of inspiration. Everything gets posted there. Old magazine photos, pretty freaky portraits, photocopies of tortured bits of fabric, flowers. It all amounts to a sort of riddle. Half an idea here, a bit of that spirit there, a whiff of this, a resemblance of that. During the Vuitton bag meetings, the technique is always the same. The team brainstorms scores of proposal panels, samples, drawings and photographs. Of course, this is a laboratory, one where billions are made, with ideas in the making which as yet not patented cannot be filmed.
Here there is different options.
That I would absolutely love to do, but I'm sure we would have a lot of problems.
Alligator skin of every shade, zany inventions that will make the competition green with envy.
We've tried to do a new texture with leather.
Also in the making, new fasteners, new monograms. The unexpected rules, the quest for visual neologism. Is it ugly or beautiful? It's the eternal question of the new.
I mean, is it so horrible that it's good? No, maybe it's just so horrible that it's horrible.
Dilemma is the watchword, while one reflects and awaits enlightenment.
That was the other thing. What was I looking at the other day? Little bells. You know those pretty little bells? Like that look like Lily of the Valley?
Yes.
Yeah.
That might be a nice thing to have hanging from a bag, like little bells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did I think of that?
Yet amidst all this industry, there are also long periods of meditative silence. Waiting for an angel to pass. In-house legend has it that such meetings are haunted by fairies.
Bad fairies getting it.
They're escaping.
Yet sometimes these creative meetings are indeed haunted by old dead clothes trying to come back to life. For example, that day, a dowdy old mauve acrylic sweater is about to be raised from the dead with a touch of Marc Jacobs' healing hands. The sweater is sized up, compared to other materials, other colors. A DNA sample is taken. And glory be, a few weeks later, our old mauve acrylic sweater has become a young mauve Marc Jacobs cashmere sweater. And its rather plain pattern has been considerably refreshed in the process. Louis Vuitton isn't exactly summer camp. The parents are around. There's a certain Bernard Arnault, a huge organization, numerous marketing teams, and an omnipresent CEO, Yves Carcel. Among other colossal playthings is a special room where hundreds of up-and-coming window displays are reproduced life-size, waiting for heavy-duty approval.
À cette période, on va donc lancer et puis voir. Donc là, on voit que dans la vitrine, ça va être absolument joli, avec mini-lin d'une.
Oui, après.
Et ébène, donc associé à ébène, je pense que ça va être très joli. Donc là, on voit avec le sueli et le monogramme. Et en deuxième période, on a le boxer élastique du défilé avec monogramme dentelle. Donc ça va être absolument ravissant. Ensuite, on a les monogrammes premium avec les grosses boucles tuques. Et puis, en dernier lieu, on a du damier avec Antigua.
At Vuitton, anything is possible. If you want to fly the whole HQ staff and studio to Japan to stage an exact remake of the earlier Paris show in a lunar bubble built specially for the occasion on the outskirts of Tokyo, then you do it.
Le Japon a vécu après l'éclatement de la bulle financière 10 ans.
Can we get all the cameras in the dressing area?
Le Japon, comme vous le savez, a connu il y a une dizaine d'années l'éclatement de sa bulle financière, de la
This
spéculation.
is Alex for everybody. It is 8.
Donc je veux dire, c'est un moment. Donc,
I need some design stuff in the runway area.
oui, donc je disais que le Japon vit un moment très, très passionnant.
Thank you.
Ah, c'est l'organisation, hein, c'est...
Bon, alors la forêt, elle va être évidemment éclairée, hein. Et il va y avoir des trucs anti-moustiques parce que... and the stone is gonna be clean. So the woman with the heel, they just step like this on the stone. They do a walk. Shall we continue? Allez, hop.
The guest list is a who's who of the Asia-Pacific region. Singers, movie stars, contemporary artists.
Petite photo, petit nom, petit look.
Nothing is left to chance. Press agents have compiled the outfit, bag and shoes of each of their guests, so that no one will suffer the supreme humiliation of wearing someone else's precious, unique piece. The models too are identical to the Paris show. They've flown an average of 25 hours for about 27 seconds on the catwalk, but everyone here seems to find that normal. It all seems really over the top, but it's hard to believe that so much money is being squandered to no purpose.
On a souvent déclaré que depuis 1992, date du premier magasin en Chine, on n'avait jamais eu de croissance inférieure à 60% annuellement. Donc je pense qu'on ne fera pas mentir les chiffres cette année.
And when the stars arrive, it's pure bliss. No one is wearing the same shoes, the same outfit, or the same bag.
Are you excited?
Oh, very excited.
Vuitton boss Yves Carcel greets LVMH boss Bernard Arnault.
Très bien, je viens de le voir. Il a fait 5 heures d'interview aujourd'hui.
Why did you choose Tokyo to be the foreign show?
Stuck a pin on the map. That's how we do things in England. So random, we just throw a dart.
The shoes, the dresses, the bags, the stars, everything is in order. The show can begin. And at last, Asia can applaud the incredible, the one and only Marc Jacobs. And now it's party time. The Emperor of Luxury gives him the thumbs up. Everyone clamors to get photographed with him. This will be a night like no other, fueled by 1,000 magnums of French champagne. While triumph and hysteria reign on the dance floor, a radiant Bernard Arnault gives a lecture on economic strategy, and suddenly it all seems so simple.
We are the only company completely integrated. We produce everything in our atelier with our craftsmen, and we sell only in our own shop. When the others, all the other brands, they do sell and they sell also wholesale. We don't do it. It's the reason why Vuitton is so exclusive. It's the only brand in the world that has this strategy.
Usually there's nothing worse than these big corporate parties where snobs and shareholders pretend to have fun. But here the hippest in town have all been invited, and genuine excitement mingled with jet lag seems to be blending into a working cocktail. Even Marc Jacobs is dancing. Everyone's letting rip. But isn't that a flower pot?
Qu'est-ce qu'il faut faire pour vendre sa marque, hein?
Yeah, you have to throw parties and attend religious ceremonies to bless new stores according to the local customs.
On les conquérir les marchés pour en faire des choses.
The crowd drank, laughed and danced as if there was no tomorrow. But next day, Marc Jacobs had to go back to Paris. From their trip to Japan, the Vuitton teams have brought back kimono belts, of course, but also these books of dolls that seem to be everywhere. Dolls with cutesy flowered headbands that will make their mark. Headbands whose flowers are about to be aged and stressed.
Vous êtes déjà allé dans les ateliers?
Non.
Vous allez les voir?
Je sais pas.
On va voir. En fait, il y a deux ateliers ici. Ça, c'est l'atelier de tailleur et tout ça.
And when exploding them won't do the trick, they are crushed until their beauty is unanimously agreed upon.
On dit jamais, ah ouais, mais ça, c'est pas très bien, mais ça passe. On fait, jusqu'à tout le monde trouve que c'est joli.
Says she, destroying flowers.
It's all about destruction. Ah oui, much better.
C'est ce que tu voulais?
Ouais.
C'est très joli. Le seul truc, c'est que c'est peut-être même un poil trop bien fait. Ouais, on veut quelque chose qui soit plus comme ça a été fait à la main. Mais c'est fait à la main, je sais.
Maybe they dip a little bit in tea.
Il faut faire tendre avec le thé, un petit peu.
But there's worse than tea. Everything has to be bleached, including jewelry and embroidery in baby baths on the roof.
Et quand ça va sécher, ça va aller, j'espère.
Je pense.
Ah ben ça, j'avais jamais trempé ma robe dans l'eau de Javel. Ça, c'est la première fois de ma vie que je le fais. Mais par contre, vieillir un vêtement, si, j'avais déjà fait, mais pas dans l'eau de Javel.
Only problem is, bleach smells and is highly corrosive.
Il y a une partie de la broderie qui est partie dans la baignoire.
Ah ouais.
Donc il faut réincruster. C'est la jolie robe qui se trouve là.
The quest is for more or less random destruction, because the idea of chaos interests Marc Jacobs. Chaos he plays with, draping the model as he goes, or even with nothing to go on, no safety net whatsoever.
You can have a bit of this blouse and a bit of a pin tuck.
Yeah.
You know, though, the
Yeah.
ivories or whatever, or
Yeah.
these things, you know, under those things.
That looks nice. Yeah.
Maybe those can just be like shells or something more hard. You know what I mean? Because the necklines here are so romantic. Maybe that should be like just chopped up like a crew neck.
Yeah.
So a photograph is taken, and Marc Jacobs synthesizes his vision into a technical drawing so the workshop staff can understand it. This taste for cut and paste, for chaotic choppiness, tends to rankle during bag meetings. By way of free-form cutting into raw monogrammed canvas, the search for new shapes, the accumulation of old bags on the floor, a pocket retrospective of Marc Jacobs' cult Vuitton bags, and a python patchwork shoe, an idea emerges, that of a quasi-cubist mix-and-match bag.
Maybe it'd be good to take, like the quilting we did do for the fall, and do it in ivory.
Yeah.
A bit of that for part of a bag.
Yeah.
And put it with the new smocking thing, and put it with a denim, and put it with, maybe even see if we could change some of the graffiti of white on brown, and a bit of applique from Julie, and, you know, just like kind of everything.
That would be good.
Could be. So it'd be nice to see all these things together, to see that we really can combine.
Sometime later, it becomes a model still far from approved. Of course, Marc Jacobs is going to put his spoke in. A lot of spokes.
But maybe it should go this way.
Like this. And chopped.
I think it's too much. Maybe you want to take like that.
We also witnessed the birth of new shoes with Fabrizio Vitti, the house shoe stylist. We'd already met him in Tokyo. He starts out with a men's shoe, a disco men's shoe.
So we thought that maybe the only place where we can still find the shoes is Barbès.
A glam disco men's shoe.
Very, very bad taste men's shoes.
A high-heel glam disco shoe. We're between two minds. Some models look pretty funky. When suddenly...
You know, more like this kind of a thing.
Yeah. That's how old
Wrap back then. Yeah, of course.
And bingo! A few weeks later, the boxes arrived from the Vuitton workshops in Italy.
Ooh, the green one.
Not in the least masculine, but as a starting point, it was a necessary if throwaway step.
Oh, look at that. Oh, nice.
Yet one unexpected production hitch is that the metal heels turn out to be really heavy and cannot be modified before the show.
You walk down the runway and you have like legs like Arnold Schwarzenegger in this by the time you get back.
In New York, too, we were there when the boxes for the Marc Jacobs label were opened, and each one held a surprise. Paper flowers made by feathermaker Le Marier from American sandwich wrapping.
I love these, the French butcher paper.
Others cut into French butcher shop paper.
C'est joli, non? C'est la boucherie 110 rue d'An. Oh, the French. Boy, do they know how to make beautiful flowers.
Because this mix of rich and poor, ugly and beautiful, twee and twisted is a Marc Jacobs obsession.
Yeah, trash it. Okay, as screwy as it can be, the better. You know what I mean? Because I like them more fucked up than, yeah.
Of course, if a t-shirt is to be made screwy, the screwiness will be perfectly controlled, hole by hole.
That hole is very important. You know, it's not just any hole. Defects are good. We're celebrating them. There is another possibility, which is even more ridiculous. I don't think it'll look ridiculous in a bad way. I mean, I use that word in the very nice sense. It's great being uncool. So this is a brassiere. Let's see it. Let's have a walk in the brassiere, which I love, but it may be too ugly. But I mean, it's really good. It's really good, but it's really ugly. I know that, and I like that. Don't worry. As soon as I get my clothes, I'll push it really far. So far that we might get hams thrown at us. Oh, let me see those violet ones. Robert, this is like really super insane. Look at the falling down.
That is awesome.
Though he plays around with his clothes, when it comes to musically staging them, he knows exactly what he wants. A remix of a great classic, Pachelbel's Canon. Intrigued by such a choice, we simply asked him why, and out came one of the keys to how it all works in his head.
But I had it in my mind, this Pachelbel. I don't know why. I get very, it comes from, I don't know, just like all of a sudden, like, think of something kind of cliche in a way, and I just think, okay, but I don't want to do it exactly the way I know it. It's that simple, really. It's so completely not a real cerebral concept. I mean, it's very pretty. It's nice. I mean, I could see Sophia wearing it like that.
We were beginning to fall under his spell, just like Sofia Coppola. Barefoot, pink nails, her ballet flats nearby, Ladure candles on the coffee table, white-smelling peonies, Fellini and Soderbergh DVDs to catch up on, painting still unwrapped and expecting a baby, she gave us her take on Marc Jacobs' vision.
Marc is such a creative person, and creative people, creativity is mysterious, I think, so I don't know exactly how he translates what he sees into what he makes, but I can relate to, or I can see how he takes a lot of different information and interests and combines it in his work, which I think is interesting.
And novelist Francine Prose tried to explain this state of grace.
It's kind of a charmed situation. I mean, that is, anything that's associated with Marc Jacobs instantly becomes popular. So essentially, they could call any line anything they wanted to, and if there were a connection with Marc Jacobs, it would be incredibly popular. It's sort of the combination of extremely stylish, extremely beautiful, extremely unpretentious, and extremely hip. I mean, the cachet is extraordinary.
You know, I have a teenage daughter, all her friends, I mean, to them, Marc is God.
He is an American genius in fashion.
But for now, the American genius in fashion is stressing out in the limo that's taking him to the first show of the season, the New York show of his own label. In the backstage half-light, he seems to be the only one who can read the whole puzzle, to know how many balls he has in the air. An adrenaline overdose he knows how to handle. It seems nerves on a knife edge are key to his creative process.
Sasha, can you go back with Brian in the white t-shirt? Hello, would you go back with Brian in the
The Marc Jacobs New York show is the key event of the North American fashion scene. It's the place to be. Even the blasé of Hollywood can't quite believe it.
This is more presents than a premiere.
Is the most important social event in New York, Marc Jacobs Fashion Show. The #1. Everybody can see, it's everybody sitting and looking, and people feel strongly that he knows something, you know? And he does. He has a good sensibility. It's sort of like an arena, you know? Like if the games begin, so everyone can see. It's a fascinating sociological type situation. And Marc is the top dog. And he doesn't care to be, but he is, you know?
But he takes it all in his stride, without melodrama.
I didn't do anything, I just do my job. Hello. Oh my God. Oh my God, famous people. Hey, how are you?
All right, and you're in it.
Wow.
You look so
freaking
good.
That's my friend Sophia. This is Kim. And that's Zoe.
Aw, she looks great.
Ladies and gentlemen, Victoria Beckham.
The French people are not jealous.
No, they're not. I love the French people. Some of my best friends are French people, right, Loic?
This is insane. So crazy. I never really believe what people say. You know.
So many mistakes. There were so many mistakes. I'm so upset.
Wow, you did that first show. And then
The first show, and then the 2 dresses that didn't come out. And
that's all right. You know what? Everybody was like, that's the best thing ever.
No.
Another one's over. It's on to the next one. On to the next.
When we do catch up with him after his New York show, he's in pieces.
I'm really feeling like very, very, very exhausted. Very exhausted. So.
But he has neither the choice nor the time. In just 3 weeks, he must do another show, for Vuitton this time, and start the idea machine pumping afresh. But where do you find inspiration when you're utterly drained? All year round, when Marc Jacobs isn't silently judging cloth, he regenerates his creative strength, running around the galleries, contemporary art fairs and auctions, building up his own art collection. He greets the gallery owners, checks out what's on offer, along with one of his best friends, diamond dealer John Reinhold, who introduced him to this milieu.
Making a documentary.
Oh, on you?
Yeah. No, on you. We didn't tell you yet.
Did you buy good things?
I bought, a couple of nice things. Bought a nice drawing of Ed Ruscha's. And I bought a nice Richard Prince.
Yet he chooses not to show his collection. He remains very discreet on the subject. He owns neither boat nor car. He doesn't even own his own apartment. His only possessions are his paintings and sculptures. Starting out with portraits, he then focused on contemporary American artists. And now he seems to be gradually leaning towards abstraction.
Do you know very much about Picabia?
A little bit. I bought a Picabia drawing from Ivan a few years ago.
When he really wants a piece, he has no qualms about besieging a gallery, like the very prestigious Larry Gagosian Gallery in New York.
Cézanne,
yeah.
And Cézanne again?
Cézanne, and Picasso. And this Bacon, Francis Bacon.
Yeah. I love that you have Francis Bacon.
Bacon there, and Warhol, and that's Cyclone.
Yeah.
Marc's a very competitive collector. I mean, he does his homework. He knows when an artist is going to have a show. He's very, in a nice way, but he's quite aggressive. And you have to really have that kind of passion and kind of polite aggression. Hopefully polite. But you need to make a collection. Otherwise, you're just buying stuff.
If he goes to an auction himself, together with me, which happened once in a while, we would discuss the final price. But then when he was actually there and he would see the piece come up, he would whisper to me, "Oh, we can go much higher than that." That's even before they started bidding. So I would ask him to please sit on his hands so that he wouldn't be able to raise his paddle.
Hey, Jeff!
Jeff Koons, Rachel Feinstein, John Curran, Elizabeth Payton, he hobnobs with numerous artists from the New York scene.
Hello, CJ.
And when Californian artist Ed Ruscha attended one of his shows, a lifelong dream had come true.
When I met Madonna, I was like, "Hi, nice to meet you." And I like her, I respect her, she's great. But when I met Ed Ruscha, I couldn't speak. I was like, oh my God.
In the endless corridors of his Tokyo hotel, we thought to ask him about this boundless admiration and his hang-ups as a craftsman in the face of artists.
Oh, my door's open. Huh? Come on in.
Yeah?
Yeah, why not? Oh, I think they're doing the housekeeping. You can come in. Look, I have like a Japanese dining room. I have this living room, beautiful bedroom, gorgeous bathroom.
They'd booked him into one of the hotel's largest suites. It seems his French employers put a premium on his comfort.
Do you want to sit down?
But we didn't dare. We weren't half as relaxed as the Japanese photographer who sang with him in the elevator a couple of days earlier. Yeah, we did have a chat.
Intimidated, because again, I've always felt intimidated by the art world, you know what I mean? Like I thought like again, in the creative hierarchy, the art world is like, you know, up here, and fashion is like down there. And it's actually Elizabeth who's made me feel differently about that. You know, she's always saying, you're so wrong, and it's like, you know, so important and so vital, and, you know, what you do, and she's very encouraging that way, because I'm always saying, it's, you know, it's like a job, it's like, because I see the life of these artists sometimes, and the way they live, and how they travel, and just think it's like such a beautiful, creative existence that seems so sort of pure in some way, you know.
In New York, in the heart of Greenwich Village, we went to meet the famous Elizabeth Peyton, the painter of an entire generation, Marc Jacobs' idol. He'd spent his time leafing through catalogues of her work. And in diamond dealer John Reinhold's bedroom, next to millions of dollars of Warhol's Marilyn, were a couple of portraits of Marc Jacobs by Elizabeth Peyton. She was moving into her new home. The dog didn't bite anyone, the glasses were still wrapped in newspaper. It was an important meeting.
You're the one who got his complex away because he felt so inferior artistically.
Oh, that's just so hard to imagine, knowing Marc, because he's so creative and he's really so sophisticated. But I think, you know, when you're outside of art, it can seem like it's some impenetrable world, but he was really right there already with all his ideas and thoughts, and when he started collecting art, he knew what he wanted. You know, he's very smart, really. He just seems so in tune with culture, and he's making culture, like he's sort of remaking the world in his image by sending off droves of people, girls, down the street in sequined ballet flats and, you know, purple corduroys. I think that's so brilliant and incredibly powerful too, about the kind of effect you can have on your world through your will alone. And that's basically what artists are doing, sort of remaking a world within their work, right?
But his interest in art has already found an outlet in his work. Having asked creator Steven Sprouse to graffiti Vuitton handbags, he's now asked Japanese artist Takashi Murakami to toy with Vuitton bags in 36 colors.
How did you get the idea to call Murakami the first time?
Because I had seen the sculpture at an auction, and I had read some articles about Takashi, and then there was a show at the Cartier Foundation. And when I was at the show at the Cartier Foundation, I went to work the next day, or 2 days later, and I asked Camille to try to find him, to get in touch with him. So we sent him an email. Just like
simple.
that. Yeah. It's like, really, you know, I'm not very clever. I'm just like, oh, call him up, see if he wants to do it.
Takashi Murakami's celebrity has soared. As he signs autographs in bags, his market price has exploded, and his ego oscillates between the utmost humility and megalomaniac euphoria.
So my, you know, this speech is not, you know, I have no point of view. So if you have a question, it's really, you know, helpful for me.
Our contract is really interesting. When it will be opened 200 years later, people really understanding what is that. Really beautiful contract, I believe. Oh, yeah. It is my work. No, it is our collaboration. Not, you know, multicolor monogram. It is a concept. You know, if we can open here, people really impressive, maybe, yeah. Very beautiful. Not visually. You know, concept is very beautiful, I believe.
The Vuitton Murakami collaboration is a textbook case of marketing. As it fuels the artist's career, it adds a cachet of audacity and creativity to the brand, and everybody gets richer in the process. And it's about to happen again, as Marc Jacobs picks up on a sculpture by Swiss artist Sylvie Fleury, a Vuitton bag cast in silver-coated bronze. Suddenly, it's come full circle on the runway, and the front row seem to love it. Artists are a worthy windfall in every sense, and Vuitton, who has the means to afford its foibles, has decided to launch a giant-sized museum at a cost of 100 million euros to concretise the spirit of artistic collaboration.
On peut dire que nous sommes les champions du cash flow, mais le cash flow, c'est pas suffisamment motivant. Pour les salariés d'une entreprise, il faut quelque chose de plus, et ce quelque chose de plus, cette âme, nous l'avons trouvée dans le mécénat.
As for Marc Jacobs, he continues to seek out confrontations with artists. In Tokyo, we'd seen him visit the venerable Yayoi Kusama, renowned for her famous polka dots, with which she tirelessly adorns just about everything.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Look at that.
They both share a capacity to oppose their vision onto a limitless world. Suddenly they were exchanging a few home truths on creation. Marc Jacobs' home truth number 1.
I don't have any separation between life and work, so I guess it's the same thing.
Yayoi Kusama, home truth number 2.
Without my art, my life is nothing. Okay?
Marc Jacobs, home truth number 3.
I don't know how to define success. If I can continue to do what I love, then I'm successful.
And the great Yayoi Kusama, principle number 4.
No center, no, competition. Just work very hard,
We must.
Yeah, we must.
I promise.
Yeah.
You too.
Yeah, me too.
Don't stop.
Yeah, don't stop.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
You keep going.
In the end, they didn't want to part.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
We sensed that Yayoi Kusama's endless dots would echo a while in Marc Jacobs' mind.
I met Yayoi Kusama.
How are you?
She's great. She's dotty as can be.
Back in Paris at Vuitton, aren't these polka dots?
I mean, I think there could be like a chapeau.
And when night falls, it's time for a little relaxation, laying pastel leather dots on bag models for hours on end. Bags whose genealogy can doubtless be traced back to Yayoi Kusama's Tokyo polka dots, to this old bottle-top bag in the studio, and perhaps even to a plate in the company kitchen where Marc Jacobs dines every evening, a plate full of macaroons. Right this way, you macaroons.
Please, may I taste one of your protein bars?
They're very nice.
Do you want one? Do you and Pete want to split one? Does anyone else do it? Do you like one? Okay.
Yeah.
Here, kids.
It's quite nice.
I told you.
You can have one bit. I'll have a bit.
Protein is good for you.
They're off the season.
So Marc Jacobs' brain feeds on fashion, art, music and encounters. On a more prosaic level, to set its wheels in motion and oil its neurotransmitters, it thrives on a rare diet of proteins,
So good.
pins, fingernails, and above all, nasty cigarettes. He gave up drugs and alcohol, which had become a problem, but he certainly hasn't lost his compulsive habits.
I hope that. No, transfer.
But fortunately, specialists have studied his case, and he's become a model of healthy nutrition.
Okay, now I drink, in case you're interested. All you watchers out there want to know about healthy nutrition, whatever. This is mangosteen. It's disgusting, tastes like baby vomit. It's a very rare fruit. And this is goji juice. It's also a very rare berry. Very good for the digestion. These are omega-3 and for digestion. Very good for you. This one is VSL3, the friendly bacteria. It's acidophilus, which you find in yogurt. Really good for you. You mix that up with water. Actually, that one tastes okay. Then you get to eat your dinner.
It's very filling.
Oh, I forgot to tell you, you get really constipated from eating these things.
Now that the macaroon layout has been decided upon, we move on to the production stage.
Cats would be ideal. 3 would be acceptable. 2 would be
unacceptable.
a disaster.
Which one?
4 is ideal. Let's go for the ideal. So,
Marc Jacobs wants 4 different macaroon bags in just 5 days. That means stepping on it. He has a habit of asking for everything in multiple colours. Thus, every pair of shorts, every jacket exists in at least 6 different colours. But all will not be shown. It's a matter of having the choice when styling and finalising the silhouettes. In New York, 150 models and multiple versions were not used for the show. There were scores of different bag models. And as for the shoes...
Tell me, how many shoes do you produce for a show?
500 to 600. This is shoe heaven. Shoe heaven, shoe heaven, shoe heaven, shoe heaven.
In this business, things tend to snowball. When Parisian suppliers like the Giulio Goussans come to present their wares, the Vuitton teams do their utmost to stretch the order list as long as it will go, while the artisan will try to resist to protect his own staff, already overburdened with work for prestigious names such as Chanel or Balenciaga during the fashion show week.
Ça, on en a 15. We'll have 15 pieces.
Can't we have 60?
Allez. Il va faire une plus petite taille aussi, comme ça.
Dans les 15, on peut faire des tailles différentes.
Pour dans les 15.
J'en fais pas 15 et 15 petites.
Bah si.
Bah non. J'en fais 15 en tout.
Non, 15 en tout, elle a arrêté comme les...
15 en tout,
Patrick.
C'est super long. Déjà, j'étais très content d'en avoir au moins 15. Donc on va en faire 12 et 8.
Ok, alors, 5 bands. C'est tout?
Bah ça va aller, Camille. Sérieux.
Et si on faisait celle-ci aussi?
Camille.
Allez, prends-la si t'as le temps, si je la fais.
Ouais, mais tu n'oublies pas que tu m'as...
Je n'oublie pas que le 9 octobre, c'est ton anniversaire.
24 hours before the show, it's accessory time. The bags, shoes, headbands and jewellery are brought together and a game of musical chairs begins to determine what goes with what. We're getting dangerously close to the show deadline. When in walks a prize guest, one of the most influential women in the fashion world, chief editor of American Vogue, Anna Wintour.
Thank you for receiving me.
Oh, you're
Thank
welcome.
You
I'm just running to the men's room, so I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay, Robert's right there if you want to
Okay.
talk to him.
Her eagle eye scans the room and immediately spots the show-stopping bag.
Yeah, they're really funny. It's leather.
Leather?
It's leather, yeah. It's all leather woven.
She gets her own on-the-go fashion show. And she even makes a comment.
So pretty.
As soon as Anna Wintour has left, finalizing of the accessories begins again with a vengeance.
Shoes, we have other options when they come in our side. Can we try can you see the gold medal one? Let's make this look rich enough, you know? Peut-être c'est un peu trop, un petit peu trop.
This was the moment we dreaded, one we'd already experienced in New York, pushed to our physical limits. There we saw how these last 12 hours were a race against the clock, compromise and possibility.
Yeah, the label's on the wrong side.
The clothes were still mutating, even the t-shirts were back to front.
Turn it around again. Has it been cut yet? Is it possible to cut it again in the pearl-lescent white cellophane from Spot and Combier? Stick it in the toaster. Separate. We may have to make an ivory version, but I think we need more, like as much of this stuff. It'd be great to have this one and a black one out here.
Okay.
But if they could be cut in the different patterns.
Yeah.
'Cause oh, is the white coat ready? What I'd like to do is add like a couple more layers.
Okay.
Oh, Joseph, and on the pants, there's spots on one side. I think what we can do is keep the big motif here and maybe just do a partial motif, like a really small one here, at least to give some weight. It's never going to be the same. Are you okay?
Yeah.
You crying? So maybe, you know, but just a tiny bit in the front and then maybe weighing the back a little bit.
The machine was racing, ideas from all sides, workshops gone wild, Marc Jacobs in meltdown. In Paris, at Vuitton, the pressure is even more intense. Everyone's in overdrive. At 4 a.m., bags are still arriving in dribs and drabs. All but one. 4 people have been working relentlessly for 3 days on the extravagant Cubist bag, the compilation of several Vuitton bags in one. The multiple layers of leather have broken needles, even machines. They completed it by hand, and here it is. The impossible bag is finished.
Tiens, Laurence.
On voit la vis tirée. On voit la vis là. Allez-y, c'est parti.
Vous pouvez être fiers. Bravo.
Merci beaucoup. Je me fais un truc aussi dingue que ce truc-là.
Ah oui, c'est vrai.
Ah mais pourtant on a déjà fait des trucs. Mais là je crois que c'est le summum. Enfin à chaque fois c'est plus encore que la fois d'avant. Parce que là-dessus il y a un travail de dingue. Et s'il faut en produire 20 exemplaires après, je peux vous dire qu'il faut vraiment s'amuser. Mais vraiment.
It's 6:30 in the morning. But will this bag win the approval of a Marc Jacobs who's never seen it?
Wow! Look at that! That is so insane. That is sick in the head.
No.
Proprio. That is like insanity personified.
It's so brilliant.
That is so good.
28 signed examples will be produced and sold around the world, priced €35,000.
That photographed against nude legs is going to be fantastic, no?
Yeah.
It's insane, isn't it? You remember when we were making that just the other day? It's so nuts.
While some merely take a break during this white night, Marc Jacobs grabs a bare 45 minutes sleep.
How do you feel?
Much better. 32.
Véro, on va prendre un café. Alors. Attends, va déjeuner, Véro.
Un petit peu de vitamine C déjà, ça requinque un peu après une nuit. Hein.
J'en ai pris une, moi ça m'a fait du bien.
On a 4, 5, 6 heures encore. En 6 heures on peut faire des miracles.
L'Europe qu'on n'a jamais essayé, qu'on n'a jamais vu.
I love that so much.
It's 9 in the morning, the show is at 3, and most of this dress is still just pinned together. Yet nobody seems ruffled, and just as well, because even its final shape is still pretty hazy.
The other thing is, Jane, you could put like a little tie, a canvas tie. You could attach something here and here and have a tie. Do you have a tape? Jolissimo.
Elle pleure. Parce qu'elle est contente.
It's finished? She's the last one? Yeah. Woo!
Well, let her get photographed and do your heading.
Je te la rapporte à finir et les bretelles. Voilà.
Noon. The accessories are done, but in the workshops, the race goes on, nervous tension turning to hilarity.
Non, tu coupes rien.
Tu me coupes rien. Pas là.
Attends, c'est bon là, comme ça. C'est bon, ça y est, c'est bon.
Non, personne ne rentre pour l'instant, personne.
In the Petit Palais, the models are getting ready. If the Marc Jacobs show is one of the highlights of the New York fashion calendar, the Louis Vuitton show comes at the close of the Paris Fashion Week. meaning the most sought-after models will have catwalked an average of 90 shows with hairdos and makeup to beat the band. Given the toll it's taken on their hair and skin, some have become almost allergic to cosmetics. $12.48 and counting.
Et ça, vous en avez pour longtemps? Ouais.
Some of the linings are pretty shaky, and even worse, several dresses are looking flaky.
C'est vraiment chaud.
Oh bah alors là, quand on dort pas, alors là c'est l'apothéose. D'ailleurs, on a des panaris partout. Ça s'infecte, on n'a pas le temps de se mettre de l'alcool à 90. Donc c'est fêlé partout, c'est dans un état.
Accident prevention rules. Fabrizio Vitti trashes the soles of his shoes to make them more adherent and to avoid a fall.
It's very psychological as well. If a shoe is not scratched, we think the girl gonna fall.
I never saw a girl falling at the Vuitton show.
No.
Never ever.
Sorry, but I have to touch, you know.
They think of everything. Each model has her own emergency bag containing a veil, safety pins, a G-string, tampons, a shoehorn, a cutter, adhesive tape and a roll-on fluff remover.
Et voilà, ça y est, terminé. Quand vous avez ça dans la main, c'est magique. Ça veut dire terminé.
Not quite finished when you have to thread a needle after a sleepless night.
Là, ça n'arrive plus. Là, ça commence à être dur. Hein. Les yeux, ils se ferment quand même. C'est la cata. Hein.
Là, 1, 2, 3, 4. Encore 4.
Et dans une heure, c'est le défilé.
Ah là là, m'en parlez pas.
Almost 2 p.m. As soon as each garment is finished, it's immediately couriered to the show. Meanwhile, rehearsals have already started. Marc Jacobs discovers the giant screens, except the video isn't the one he was expecting. In the workshops, they're still at it. 2:28 p.m., 2 garments are still resisting. One, a safari jacket with a Liberty layered back, with such a headache that the reluctant buttons remain to be fitted. And a lampion sleeve jacket with a backlacing straight out of hell. Yet in 30 minutes, it must all be on the catwalk.
Et ça, on l'arrêtait où? Bah, de toute façon, on l'arrête avant et on l'arrête avant. Non, 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 non. Ils n'ont pas vu qu'il y a un truc qui ça pend un peu?
Encore 10 minutes.
Vous allez partir maintenant? Là? On va passer juste un coup de soufflante. Oui.
Please don't move around too much when we look at you, okay? Stay still. And no, this isn't on your shoulders, it's Fietta. Just hold it down, please, for now.
Yeah, I'm coming over with that one on the bike. Okay, see you, bye-bye.
The last jacket is ready, but a new race begins. In New York, 2 dresses never made it to the show.
Paris.
We're in the centre of Paris at Pont Neuf. The show is at the Petit Palais on the Champs-Élysées, about 15 minutes in traffic jams from here. A show that starts in 1 minute's time. And the dispatch rider hasn't arrived. But Janet Jackson is already sitting in the front row.
They're out through there doing something.
The missing jackets have arrived, but of course they have to be touched up again one last time.
Voilà, c'est bon. Tiens.
Marc Jacobs checks the lacing on the lampion sleeve jacket. The mob of photographers is growing impatient.
Excuse me, excuse me.
But now the chandeliers are being raised. The Vuitton show is about to begin.
You saw us working on the shoes and the bags and the clothes, and I think each thing influences the other. You know, when you start to do a bag that's like kind of more elaborate, then you go back and look at a piece of clothing that you thought was pushed far enough, but then you realize maybe it should be pushed further, and vice versa. It's like such a long process between choosing fabrics, developing prints, working on the embroideries. I mean, you saw the team, everyone has been busy working on all of the stuff for months. It just comes together at a certain point, and the momentum sort of builds, and the time gets shorter, so you have to make decisions, you know, and then you're left with what is the show. I mean, is it so horrible that it's good? So it'd be nice to see all these things together, to see that we really can combine. So insane. That is sick in the head. So we took two fabrics sometimes and had them woven together, and then we bleached them out. Yeah, trash.
Il y a une partie de la broderie qui est partie dans la baignoire.
As screwy as it can be, the better.
Nice.
Hi, gorgeous. Hi, Dita. Monsieur Renaud, vous aimez? Vous aimez? Vraiment? Vraiment? Vous êtes content? Tellement. Ah, oui, toujours, c'est pas la première fois. Beaucoup de sacs, hein? Tous les défilés Vuitton sont... Oui, travaille beaucoup. Good.
You are the greatest.
No, you are.